hate the homies.
What up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of I Hate the Homies, episode number 138. Rock Teasies, who I be.
It's your boy, a.k.a. Mr. Go Blue, a.k.a. Mr. Raider Nation, a.k.a. he texts the most, and I hate the homies. Griff.
And it's your boy Super Dave, but guess what, y'all?
We don't care. And this fourth person that you're looking at, I'm a just read. Good friend of the show. He said he feel like he ain't a homie no more because we ain't talked to him since it was the Olympics and we was talking about him and USA fencing. But
that's right.
This brother, ESPN, CBS Sports Network, NBA TV, commentator, ESPN, Sirius Radio. He's actually in a hotel right now to cover the NBA draft. And this week, he's getting an honorary doctorate in humane letters. It's our guy, Darryl Jacobs.
Come on,
G, thank you.
In the building.
Thank you for having me, man. I thought my hating the homies card was revoked, man. I don't get no love and all that kind of stuff. And
we be trying not to bust people.
Talent. I got some comedic talent. You know, I can make people laugh a little bit, you know, as well. But thank you guys for having me. Was excited about coming on, and we got a lot to talk about.
And also a coach for 20 plus years in basketball. Don't want to downplay you. Great dude. But what show? What we talking about today, Rock?
Man, of course, NBA Finals. We're gonna give you our perspective on that and who we think is gonna be the favorite to win it next year. NBA Draft. You know what I'm saying? It's really one name, and that's Cooper Flagg. You know what I'm saying? There's some other players out there. My man Dylan Harper from Rutgers probably gonna be number 2, but we get into all that. And then NCAA, the landscape, it continues to change with this with the money grab, baby. The money grab was getting crazy. So let's get it popping, man. Let's get it started, man. I Hate the Homies episode 138 starts right now.
I hate the homies.
All right, so NBA Finals champions, OKC. You know, I'm gonna let the sports genius speak first. I called it. This was the team that I said was gonna win this whole thing. They were the best NBA team, in my opinion, all season long. Like, just period. Like, they lose games? Of course they lost games, but they were, in my opinion, the best team in the NBA consistently all year long. So it was just a matter of time. And even if Halliburton wouldn't have gotten hurt in Game 7, I still believe OKC would have put him away.
I don't know, dog. He was hurt that game before where they won, and he only had 14. I was just saying he can't go into this last game getting 14, 15. They're going to need him to show out. But I think that, you know, the whole team got low self-esteem after he got hurt. You could just see it took the wind out of the whole Pacers bench, the coach. And, you know, when Jordan go down, Scotty don't really want to be out there by himself. Like,
you saw that out when he went to Portland.
It was some people. Did you watch the whole game? Dave, did you watch the whole Game 7?
I sat there. I want to see a Game 7 because I thought it was a pretty good series between these two teams. But I think
absolutely
the part that hurt me was when he went down early in the first period. After that, I checked out because I think they would have had a better game if Tyrese would have played in that game and played a full game. They had a chance to win that thing. They would have.
Daryl, they only lost by 12. What's your thoughts?
Well, I disagree with you guys to a degree. Even despite him getting hurt early, don't forget it was a game at halftime. They were still very much in the ball game halftime. So, you know, they picked sales went out him a little bit when he went down. Anytime you got your floor general that go down, of course that's going to hurt. But like guys like McConnell, and that depth really stepped up the remaining of the first half. But the third quarter, they really blew it open. Oklahoma really blew it open, which I thought was going to be the difference in the ball game anyway. Even with Halliburton there, I didn't think Indiana was not going to beat Oklahoma City in Oklahoma City for the championship game. And it proved to be the difference as well, even though it was a 12-point loss. But at the same time, you got to give Indiana a lot of credit. They showed a lot of resilience. They got some key pieces there that they can build upon as well. And they got some guys who were at other teams, like Tompkins was the New York Knicks. He didn't play much. Neesmith was on the Boston Celtics. I know Celtics, which they never really have traded him as well. And Rick Carlisle does a great job in his system, getting
That's
the
what we
players
were
where they're
saying.
supposed to be. But here's the thing about it. This is the first NBA Finals where you saw both teams pushing up 94 feet. It was really getting after it. And it was the changing of the guards. You got some new talent here in the NBA that's really letting you know there was no KD, there was no Steph, there was no LeBron, there was no Giannis. So this is the changing of the guard. And the game is changing as well. You know, this thing is in trends. You're going to begin to see a lot of teams now are going to adopt what OKC done in terms of style. And they were the best defensive team in the NBA. So that really proved to be a real strong suit for them at the end as well.
I think
Rock, I really like the Pacers' Benedict Mathurin, the youngin from Canada. Yo, way to make a name for yourself.
He's a fantastic player, but we have a Canadian invasion here. Don't forget, a lot of the players now, if you look at the Canadian basketball landscape, is really, really upgraded, you know, as well. There's many players in the NBA from Canada, from the Jamal Murrays to Gilgeous-Alexander to Wiggins. Yep, absolutely. So there's a lot of talent in Canada, you know, as well. So you got to give them a lot of credit. So next Olympics, be prepared. Don't be surprised with Canada being contending for the gold medal.
They got to increase Mathurin's role on the team next year. Like, that dude can average 22 easy. Like,
they probably will now. Halliburton probably is out for the whole season, so now they're going to make some changes. He's going to be getting.
Will he be out for the whole season?
Yeah, he more likely he's probably going to be out for the whole season. And if I'm Indiana, depending on how the season is going, gentlemen, I will hold him out. If the season is not going well, there's no need to bring him back and let him play, you know, as well. But also, it would constitute them developing more depth with guys like Mathurin and some other guys, you know, as well, giving them an opportunity to perform as well. Of course, losing Halliburton, you're probably not going to have the same team. McConnell is good, but he's no Halliburton. But you're probably going to have, because they have such a deep bench and such a great coach, don't be surprised if they don't win about 50, anywhere from 45 to 50 ball games, despite not having Halliburton.
Wow.
But you got to take advantage of your opportunity, because you don't know what can happen next year, because the New York Knicks, look at them next season. I know what's going on in Boston, because they're getting rid of a lot of people right now because of.
Well, it's all about the salary
apartment, the way they moving people out and
people out. But I mean, this is your chance. I thought in Game 4, when they were back in Indiana, they had a chance to pull that Game 4 out. They had the lead all the way through the game, but then couldn't close it out. I thought that was going to be the end for them. They had a chance.
Yeah, that was the difference in the ball game. And that's a great point, Super Dave. I mean, that game, they really got in the bag, and that was the difference of possibly them winning the championship.
Yep.
You know, well, anytime you can lose a game at home in a series, the other team takes home court advantage, then you have to go into their arena or home field and win one game, and you get home court advantage back as well. So it became that kind of series. But that game you mentioned, that was a key game for Indiana. If they could have stole that game and went up 3-1, it would have been hard pressed for Oklahoma City to beat them 3 in a row.
Rock, how great was SGA this year? And I want to quote Super Dave. Probably a month and a half ago, Darryl, we were, you know, getting ready for the playoffs and stuff, talking about it, and we were saying, well, SGA, yeah, but is he a dog though? And me and Rock is like, yeah, he a dog. Look how he been playing. And you know, we old school dudes, we all over 45, so we're gonna bring up Michael Jordan and Kobe and them a lot. But we were just trying to tell Super Dave, SGA is a problem, dog. Darryl, how much of a problem is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and is he fluky?
He's a problem. I'm going to tell you why.
Interesting word of fluky, but go ahead, Darryl.
But I'll tell you, you know, anytime you get in the playoff, one thing a playoff does for you, I tell people, it's like 3 different seasons in the NBA. You have regular season, you have the first round of NBA, and then, of course, then you have the NBA Finals. So you're going to have to adjust. You know, you could be a regular season superstar and be a playoff flop. The playoff will expose your strengths and weaknesses from a coaching standpoint, individual player standpoint, you will get exposed. As you saw Luka last year against the Boston Celtics, he got exposed defensively, as well. He's got exposed for not being in shape, as well. And also allows you to lock into a team day in and day out now, where you don't have to go on the road one night playing here, one night get the scout report. You don't have time to lock in. So it becomes a different ball game as well. Gildress showed that he's a dog in one particular game in Oklahoma City down the stretch when he actually took over and won the ball game when he went for 35 points. In the fourth quarter, he had like 17 points. He really took over when the team really needed him as well. So you have those defining moments as well as a player, and that really defined him as a moment. But he's one of the few players to win NBA MVP and the NBA title in the same season. Averaged 30 points a game over the last 3 seasons. That's unheard of. And he's not a three-point shooter. He's a mid-range arsenal as well. He's an old-school throwback. So that's telling you that the mid-range game is not a lost art. He's actually maximizing it to his advantage as well. And then he's so smooth. And then he's like Jokic. He plays under control. You can't speed him up. He plays at his own pace. And those are dangerous type of players as well.
Yeah.
And incorporate that with a system and a young coach and a young team. Then he has a great Robin in Williams. And then, he has Holgram there, and they have a bench as well. So he's definitely a dog, and it's scary to see how good this young man can really, really be. He don't exude Michael Jordan in terms of in-your-face type leadership, but he's an assassin on the court. And don't let that demeanor fool you, his soft-spokenness. He's a true player, as well. And he's going to be something. He's going to be a problem for a year to come. Don't be surprised if you don't see him set a lot of NBA records as well. And I'm not just talking about from scoring, but effectiveness. If he's not scoring, he has the ability to create for other people. And that's what makes him a problem for years to come.
I'm going to go ahead and say it. Go ahead, Jay.
Now, the one thing that happens after a team wins the championship, and we've seen it every single year, is the next dynasty. I know they're young. They are a young team. They
25.
Still got so many picks out there. They can readjust and move guys in and move guys out. But are we ready to say they're a dynasty? Because the league has changed over the last 5 or 6 years.
Well, you can't say that compared to they're the youngest team since the Portland Trailblazers, 97 Portland Trailblazers. It's hard to say a dynasty. Dynasties back then were created because players couldn't move as freely as they can now. And you could have those players stay year in, year out, whether any sport, baseball, basketball, football. As you mentioned, it's hard to be a dynasty now because you don't know who's going to leave. You don't know if Caruso is going to leave. You don't know who's going to, key pieces, even with the Denver Nuggets, when they won the NBA title and certain guys got out of town, they wasn't the same team as well. And then you got to look at salary caps and all that stuff. If you're under the cap, if you're in the win now mode, did you trade just the win now mode? And say, we're going to be over the apron right now. And at the end of the season, if we don't win, we're going to start trading people and ally what the Boston Celtics are doing right now with Holiday and Porzingis to get under the cap as well. So it's hard to say a dynasty, but they got things in place. If they can keep these guys together for the next 4 or 5 years, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't win 2 more titles. But again, other teams going to be getting better and going to be able to adjust to their style as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how they.
Well, you talking about Houston, who just got better? I'm not saying championship.
Houston just got better. And don't forget Cleveland. Cavaliers is a very good basketball team, as well. But Houston picking up KD, and we'll talk about this well. If you guys want to talk about now, it's a win now. Win now. That's what they're trying to do now. Win now. It's going to have some long-term effect. It could be a salary situation. It could present some salary problem. But KD is 37 years old, 38 years old. So can he stay healthy? KD is not a leader, not a vocal leader. He was more to me. He needs complementary pieces around him, and he does have that. He has a coach that he's going to be able to get the ball. Now, scoring in probably NBA history. He's a phenomenal talent as well. He don't get a lot of credit for his defense ability, as well. So I think going there is a boost for them, but it's going to have some long-term effects if they don't get it done right now. So Houston lets you know they're trying to go all in now. Get a player of KD caliber mixed with that young talent there as well, and with a great coach. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. But they're you got to put them in contention as well. And the New York Knickerbockers, believe it or not, they got to find a coach, but at the same time, they got some.
What was that about, Darryl? How they get
rid
of
that was more. I thought Thibodeau deserved another year based on what he did. It was more cosmetic than anything else. I did a great article on it. People say it was more cosmetic than anything else as well. But, somebody had to show face. It was more a Dolan decision than anything else. I think with them, they're win now mode. You gave up 5 first-round draft picks for a guy you thinking about not even re-signing in Bridges. So it tells you the mistake you probably made in that regards as well. But, Thibodeau was a scapegoat. Everybody say, he played this guys too much as well. One thing, if you're going to play for Thibodeau, you're going to get your minutes. You're going to play your minutes if you're in his rotation as well. And I think he learned his lesson during the playoffs when he started to play more guys. I thought he deserved another year. I thought it was a premature decision. But then again, when those players came in after the end of the year meeting and he didn't get no favorable reviews, and as well as Jalen Fowler, Rick didn't get no favorable reviews as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. And if the Knicks don't win, the team president is the next casualty of war.
Who is out there that could even come in and be an asset to the Knicks right now? And then you got, and we'll talk about that with the drafts, but Brooklyn got 5 first-round picks.
Here's this is one of them situations that Doc Rivers always pop up. Don't be surprised if Doc leaves Milwaukee and comes to New York.
No, he's not even. He's not even. We're gonna kick you off the show for that comment.
Thank you.
There's no
Doc
way.
Find a way to keep a job.
There's no way. They're not even looking at Doc Rivers. I mean, initially they was going to talk to Jay Wright, a few other guys. Mark Jackson and
I was going to ask about Mark Jackson.
Mark Jackson and me knowing Mark, as well. Mark is a fan favorite. Mark is a favorite to talk to, but now they're talking to Taylor Jenkins and Mike Brown. I thought Mike Malone, who won an NBA title, who's a Queens native, would be a good selection for them, as well. But it's going to be very interesting to see who they hire, as well. But you're going to have to hire somebody who's going to be able to cover Jalen as well as Towns' defensive liabilities. They're both 2 of the worst defenders in the league, as well. And if you saw during the playoff, I was at games and I see the players screaming at Towns because his lack of communication and all that kind of stuff. And one of the things why I got Thibodeau out the door, because Thibodeau wasn't holding these guys. Thibodeau is a defensive-minded coach, and people forget that, as well. But these guys were not on that page, as well. So the new coach coming in is going to definitely have to devise some defensive schemes to cover these guys, but also the team is going to have to find them some depth to go along with the new coach as well. Otherwise, you're going to be spinning your wheels.
But I just didn't understand what the Knicks were trying to do. He got you to a certain situation you ain't been in a long time, but then you had no plans after firing him.
Well, that could tell you. You could tell that was a Dolan decision. That was a Dolan decision. He didn't listen to his team president. And anytime if the team president would know, he's a smart guy. He would have definitely had some people in plan. But I think they predetermined what they was going to do with him. They say, hey, if we don't get to the NBA Finals, we're going to fire him. Now, mind you, they haven't been to an NBA NBA Conference Finals since 1999. This is 25 years. He won back-to-back 50-game seasons, the best season they have. And there people, New York Knicks fans forget, as I tell them, I say, y'all forget how bad it was before this man showed up. And he's the reason why Brunson is there. He's the reason why Jalen Brunson is so there. Good. Yeah, he's the reason why he's there. So to kick this man out and not give him another year, to surround him with some pieces, as well, and see what kind of adjustments he can make, as well. Then people say Mike Malone is just like him. I say I disagree. You got people learn from their learning experience and all that kind of stuff. But right now, you don't have a game plan. Bringing in Mike Brown, I don't think is an upgrade. Taylor Jenkins shouldn't have been fired at Memphis, I didn't think, but he's a good upgrade. But I think Mike Malone is because he's won the NBA final. He's an East Coast guy. He's from Queens. He's somebody that's been there. Mm-hmm. So I think he would have been a good choice outside of, Jay Wright, who never really wanted the job initially. And then, of course, I can't believe it was going after Udoka and Tyronn Lue and Jason Kidd. They was not going to be allowed to speak to those guys. They're not going to let those guys speak to them. So you can try all you want. Hell, they could have came and spoke to me. Shit.
I don't care what y'all say.
I got a good resume.
Doc Rivers over there in Milwaukee.
No, man.
Thank you, Rocky. I appreciate you, homie.
But Doc just, Doc was lucky with Boston, and we're going to talk about the Nets having those 5 first-round draft picks. They recovered. They recovered from, remember when the Nets traded all those draft picks to the Boston Celtics? That's why Boston is in place now. And they traded all those first-round picks to get KD and Pierce. Yeah. So all those guys went over there now, and now the Brooklyn Nets are able to get 5 first-round draft picks. So they did a real job, the organization, in recovering those 5 draft picks. And now they're going to have a great draft and potentially have a bright future with this team coming up.
Speaking of draft, let's transition to the NBA draft. It's going down, and everybody know, if you know that the number 1 pick is going to be Cooper Flagg to the Dallas Mavericks. Now, let me tell y'all something. Cooper Flagg to the Dallas Mavericks is softening the blow of Luka being traded away. You got Anthony Davis. You got Anthony Davis with a whole year to kind of hopefully get back healthy. And then, of course, Kyrie just signed his 3-year extension to stay with the Mavs. Look, that's solid if Anthony Davis can stay healthy. That's always the X factor in this conversation. But if them 3 with that deep bench that they have, Lively and all them, Mavericks can contend. And when I say contend,
absolutely.
About for a title if they can all stay healthy.
Absolutely. And then you got to give it time to mesh a little bit, as well. But I'll let the other guys chime in before I chime in.
No. You actually in a hotel going to the NBA draft. Like you
know what? Yeah. But you know what, D? What was your thought when the whole Luka situation went down? Because we're in Dallas and everybody went crazy. I had my thoughts on it, but what's your thoughts on Luka?
But I thought, Luka last year showed you, and the organization got tired of Luka not coming into shape, not working hard. And I get it why they did it, but at the same time, you got to, before you make a decision, you got to understand what the public backlash is going to be with it as well. You just took Nico Harris. You just went, and it wasn't just Nico Harris' decision. It was the ownership decision. But of course, he's going to take the bullets for it. But at the same time, I don't think it was a bad move for them in getting something in return. I tell people all the time, I say, I get it, because this guy's not dedicated, and he got exposed in the NBA Finals. And they wanted him to come back and say, you would think getting exposed in the NBA Finals, you would come back in better shape. But he didn't come back in better shape. Every time he gets to camp, he always got to lose weight with it as well. And we talk about regular season players. When I told you, it's 3 seasons. He's a great regular season player. He might be a great Western Conference playoff player. But when you get to that NBA Finals, man, if you ain't ready, you're going to get exposed. Your weaknesses is going to come out, as well. Now, he's a phenomenal scorer. No doubt about it. Handles the ball very well with that as well. But what saved Nico Harris, because they was gonna kill him. Boy, I felt bad for him. But winning, and how ironic, you guys won the first pick in the draft.
That's what we said.
They didn't even have a 10. Nobody thought, and that's nothing but God. I said, Mr. Nico Harris, you must be a praying man, because. Now to get this guy, now you don't hear nobody talking.
Right.
Because you might have a generational talent in this young man, Cooper Flagg, who's a phenomenal.
Is he that good,
phenomenal player, man.
Darryl, is he that good?
Yes. If you saw him against the Olympic team, and when USA junior national team played against the Olympic team, he was killing the NBA guys. I mean, you knew right then that this young man was going to be at 18 years old. You knew right then the way he plays the game, the way he's carrying himself, he's going to be a phenomenal professional. I think college held him back because you could devise and scheme things as well. But this NBA level now, he's going to have his game much more open up. There's no doubt the young man is the most talented player in this year's draft, as well. Then I want to talk about, Dylan Harper. Whose mom is from Paterson, New Jersey. Baby. I know. His mom is from Paterson, New Jersey. I've been knowing Dylan since he was a kid.
He always been sweet.
Always been like that. Always been like that. And I used to tell his mom, Maria, I said, oh, he's going to be your best player. He's lefty, 6'6". He's taller than Ron Harper Jr., as well. He plays phenomenal strength. And don't forget, in the McDonald High School All-American game, he won MVP. Over Cooper Flagg. People don't realize that. He's a phenomenal player. He's a bona fide, number 2 pick. And then when you get to the number 3 pick, Philadelphia 76ers, you're looking at, they're trying to decide between VJ Edgecombe and Ace Bailey. Now, one of the legislators in Pennsylvania said, don't pick Ace Bailey. He came out and said, don't pick Ace Bailey. Go for VJ Edgecombe, as well, which I think VJ Edgecombe, both of them got tremendous upside. If you haven't seen this kid, Ace Bailey, play, he was hurt during the year. Like any young player, inconsistent as well, but definitely got NBA-type skills, man. I mean, he's phenomenal player, man. If you look at his highlights, what he can do, his efficiency, as well. But like any young player, he's going to drift a little bit sometimes. If he's get with the right organization, I don't know if Philly is the right organization.
Exactly, because they so hard on they play. Man.
Yeah. But at the same time, they got to make some changes there, as well, with that as well. But VJ Edgecombe is another player that's for talented, phenomenal type player. The young man from Baylor who can really play, very efficient, as well. A lot of upside. And think about this, guys. A lot of people don't think about this. Of the top 20 pick, 17 could be college freshmen. You heard what I just said?
Yeah.
Wow. 17 could be college freshmen. And how many are ready? You're looking at loading the G League up with some of these guys who may not be ready, to contribute right away. And depending on which situation they go to, I just talked about Neesmith from Indiana going to Boston when they was loaded and he couldn't play. We talked about Tompkins with the New York Knicks when he was there. He didn't play that much, so he got time. So you got to go to the right situation to be able to develop those type players. But, you got guys like Jamion Ferris, a crafty guard who could be a sleeper. Trey Johnson, as well. And you talk about Nick Clifford from Colorado and, of course, William Clayton Jr. from Florida.
Let's not forget about Con Newport. Duke.
Yep, absolutely. I was going to mention him.
Flagg off that Duke team. Con is the next, dog.
Con Knipper. Yep, Con Knipper, who I think can be a sleeper as well, who actually at 15 and 16 years old, his father had him playing in the pro summer leagues with men. So he came in knowing how to play against men as well. So, I think he could be another great sleeper as well. Actually, I have him as probably being the top sleeper, Con Knipper from Duke, as well, because he has a ready NBA game as well. Now, only thing is defensive suspects. Athleticism is overlooked because he really can guard. But like any NBA draft, anything you play, people always look at the offense, but you got to be able to guard your position you play. And that's going to be key to it as well. There was a young man who I covered a couple of years ago, played at Weber State, a kid named Dylan Jones, who was on the bench, who won an NBA championship with Oklahoma City with the Thunder as well. And I have a friend who's a scout for the Thunder. He kept calling me about the kid. I said, listen, the kid can really play. Give him an opportunity. I don't know how much he's going to play for you guys, but the kid can really, really play, as well. He didn't play as much this year, but he won an NBA championship, and he's somebody that got to a wrong situation because they built a young team in Oklahoma City, and he just was the odd man out in terms of the numbers that they have, as well. But the young man is very talented as well. So we'll see what happens with this draft.
Let's go back to Cooper Flagg, because the one thing I want to say is he's in a perfect situation because he doesn't have the pressure. He's going to a good team.
Right.
You still got Anthony Davis. You still got Lively, a Duke player, a former Duke player. Kyrie Irving, a former Duke player. He doesn't have the pressure of coming in being that number one pick to where you got to actually.
I got to change the culture.
He's not trying to be Luka.
And that's a great point, Super Dave. Anytime you get players in those situations, sometimes in today's culture, especially you look about somebody that's 18, 19 years old, these guys really can't do it at 18, 19 years old. So if you say if they go to Charlotte, you can't expect an 18, 19-year-old kid to come in there unless he's phenomenal. We haven't seen too many of those. We haven't seen too many LeBron James and guys like that able to come in with the maturity to be able to turn around an organization as well. So you're going to have to surround him with pieces. The great thing, as you said, it's going to help him develop slowly and get comfortable having Kyrie around as well as Anthony Davis, two NBA veterans, as well. Then you got a team that went to the NBA final 2 years ago as well.
A team that caused problems even without Luka. Oklahoma had problems with Dallas.
Yeah, yes. Dallas is strong, but I'm going to back you up a little bit and challenge you, Dave, on not expecting Flagg to come in and make an immediate impact. I think they are.
No, I said he doesn't have to.
He said he don't have to.
I kind of think he does. Here's why. Because because of the Luka situation. It's like, okay, yay, we got Cooper, so that's great. But because of what Luka did immediately and what he was able to do while his time here, I'm thinking the fans are going to be expecting Cooper Flagg day one to step foot on the court and give me at least what Luka gave us, if not more. I think the complete opposite.
That ain't realistic.
Unrealistic expectation.
Thank you.
He has the opportunity to be developed into a Luka type player. Luka is a special talent, man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you that right
Being
now.
around AD gonna make him sweet.
But being able to grow and having Kyrie and AD there to help him grow. Now the young man is probably going to easily average double figures. He's pretty easily going to average double figures, but he's not going to have to average 27, 28 points a game like Luka did from off the bat.
He's gonna probably
but he's going to be. He's going to be at least and it all depends how the team meshes as well. He's going to bring a different dynamic than Luka is on both sides of the basketball as well. Where he may give up in scoring, he may be able to create with his defense ability to block shots and cover people, as well. Unlike Luka can't help. He's not going to be able to be ISO'd in situations like he easily do that with Luka with it as well. Luka was a fan favorite, great for bringing fans in and all that stuff. But ultimately, you want to win the NBA championship. And what Luka got exposed in the NBA Finals a couple of years ago. So therefore, with Cooper coming in, who I think has a great upside. I think two different type of players. But there's not going to be that enormous amount of pressure. If you're a Dallas Maverick fan, you're happy to get this young man, and now you know there's going to be some growing pains with him. And hopefully those experienced players as Lightly and Davis and Kyrie, you got to have Kyrie come back healthy too.
Yeah,
you got to have him come back healthy too. But then you got a good coach there, as well. So I think they're going to make the playoff even without Luka, as you mentioned, Super Dave. There was a problem without Luka because defensively they made up for his absence, his lack thereof as well, and found people who can score. You can get 27 points by committee for 3 or 4 people, but you got to have that defensive presence as well. Ultimately, defense wins you titles.
Did y'all know Cooper Flagg made $28 million in NIL?
Oh yeah,
$30 million.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, let me tell you that the landscape has changed as far as what you just described was old school, the way things were.
Yeah.
Getting these players, developing into a system to hopefully turn out to be this. Man, people want instant gratification right now. People want instant gratification right now.
But listen, instant gratification it could be a bad thing because like a lot of these players that declare for the draft, they want instant success and they don't have instant success. So now mentally they're not prepared for it. Now a lot of these guys shouldn't even be leaving college right now. To me, a lot of them are not ready. Only maybe 3 of these guys, and then you got some of these foreign guys who are ready because they've been playing overseas, as well. Some of those guys may be ready, but a lot of American college freshmen that's going into the draft is not ready. They're going to end up being two-way guys, being G League guys as well, or sitting in the bench and not playing, depending on which system they go to. Depending on which system they go to. If you got a team that's revamped, like Brooklyn Nets would be a great team to go to right now because they're revamping their whole team, these 5 draft picks. So that's an opportunity to play with those guys right away. Instant gratification is great, the fans, but a true basketball fan will understand, like, we got a revolutionary talent. We might have a talent unlike we haven't seen before in Cooper Flagg. And so we continue to develop him and let him grow. And what Super Dave was saying, it's not going to be that amount of enormous pressure on him to come in and do things right away. He's going to learn, and eventually they're going to be like, okay. It's like me when I was playing with the older guys and I was young, just being out there passing the ball. All of a sudden, 10 years later, they're like, yo, man, you got to shoot. You got to take over. Right. Because I'm old as hell. And now you in your prime. We got to let you, because we see it. We you ain't got to defer to us no more. And that's one thing they're going to have to do with him eventually. And I can tell you're going to hear it. They're going to be like, they're going to encourage him. You got to encourage him to shoot more. You're going to hear things like that. Yeah.
Flagg has such a high basketball IQ, though, that I don't even think he'd know how to play the back casually. You know what I'm saying? So, Rock, I hear what you're saying, that this dude going to come in and be amazing quick. But ain't he still a little fella, though, Darryl? Ain't he still a little?
In terms of NBA size and strength, he's small in stature. But you don't see that until the NBA playoffs. You know, you don't see the real physicality to the NBA playoffs. So hopefully in the offseason he'll get stronger. And don't forget, gentlemen, he's 18, 19 years old. He ain't even in his full manhood yet.
Yeah.
So, you know, and once he gets there, by the time he's 20, 21, it's like Tatum. Give you a perfect example. Look, so remember Jason Tatum when he first came in, his body looked skinny.
Yep.
All of a sudden, over the years,
Little
all of a
fella.
sudden, 1 year it comes back, he's ripped. He's ripped. You're like, whoa, wow. You know, he's really ripped, and he's understanding the physicality, and he's been through the playoffs and all that kind of stuff, you know, as well. Having KD and Kyrie and those guys, and these guys went to the NBA Finals a couple of years ago. He's going to get around some guys going to be like, listen, young fella, you're going to have to do this right now. Let's get you started early, getting your weight up and getting stronger and all that stuff. And hopefully Dallas can keep him after this rookie contract is up, because you might be preparing him for somebody else. If that
for him to be just amazing 3-4 years from now.
Yeah, 3-4 years from now, this young man, 21, 22 years old, and, you know, putting on about 15 pounds of muscles, and he's gotten to his man strength, he's going to be a different story. But I think today what you're seeing, as you mentioned, Griff, him being small in stature, I think with the regular season, I don't think that's going to be an issue. And he's tough. He's mentally tough. He's not.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, D, because one thing that Griff said about Cooper Flagg making $28 million in NIL money, where do you see? We know what happened in college football. Where do you see the landscape of college basketball going now, especially now with the schools able to pay these players now?
Yeah, let me tell you about the House settlement. I'll tell you how everything transpired. House settlement just was passed. This thing was in litigation for months. Mm-hmm. And what happened was everybody thought it was going to pass in April, but it didn't pass. Claudia Wilkins, who was head of overseeing this in the 9th District of the USA Court, she sent things back to NCAA or the people that's negotiating the settlement to say, hey, you know, we can't change roster sizes. We don't want to have a limit on number of scholarship and roster size and everything. So she sent everything back for them to get it together as well. Then finally, they passed it. And now what you're seeing is it was a $2.8 billion settlement. And this settlement goes back to players who participated from 2016 to 2024. Those are the players who opt in. You have to actually opt into the lawsuit to get some of this money. Mm-hmm. So some players didn't opt in. Some other people are going to file their own antitrust lawsuits, you know, as well. And I'll explain to that why they want Congress to get involved in this as well. So that $2.8 billion is going to be given out or divided between those student athletes from 2016 and 2024. But also what doesn't happen is now there's a cap in revenue sharing, which each team now, this is based on Power 5 conferences, it's $20.5 million is the cap. Now, these teams don't have to pay out that $20.5 million to the athletes, but that's your cap that you could pay out. And then over the next 2 years, there's a 4% accelerator, which means each year can go up 4% over the next 2 years. So say this coming season, 25-26 season, it'd be $20.5 million. Well, next year it could be $22.3 million, something like that. Yeah. And the following year it could be more. Than after those 2 years, they evaluate it as well. But here's the thing about it. You know, now you're able to sign these players to contracts. And what's going to happen is you're going to have buyout clauses in these contracts. They're really, and now what you open yourself up to collective bargaining.
That's what you've been saying, Dave.
Down the pipe, you're going to look at employees. You know, athletic department can pay these kids now and all this stuff. Now with the NCAA don't want to give up their amateurism status. But everybody knows the landscape is changing in that regard, you know, as well. So what's going to happen with all this coming down the pipe with these contracts now, you're going to see less movement in terms of kids being able to transfer at will and all that stuff, unless the school they're going to buys them out. You're going to see a lot of that happening. And don't be surprised you see some private equity firms get involved. I'm giving you the whole scoop, guys.
Yes.
No, I'm loving it.
The whole landscape. It done changed the whole landscape in regards to collegiate athletics. And me being a former college coach and serving on the NCAA men's basketball committee and the NCAA BA Congress, you know, as well. I saw this coming down the road years ago, even when Ed O'Banion first filed a lawsuit with his name.
UCLA.
UCLA. He actually won the case in 2011. The NCAA appealed it and got it upheld. So he was able to win that case. I don't remember if you remember the 2000, I believe it was 16 NCAA finals when they interviewed Sean Napier at UConn. And he said, you know what? I go to bed hungry at night. Now, UConn was making all this money off of this kid, and he got to go to bed hungry at night. And you play in the NCAA final. And that kind of opened up the floodgates in regards to being able to pay these student athletes. That's henceforth why you see this $2.8 billion settlement. Now, they were suing for $3.5 billion, but they settled. NCAA said, you know what? We got to settle for this. We'd rather do the $2.8 billion as well. Now what the NCAA is hoping now with Congress told the NCAA to get their act together. So now NCAA seem to have their act together. And now what the NCAA is hoping Congress would do, gentlemen, is pass laws, put everything in laws. So you can have these anti-lawsuits will not be going on and all this kind of stuff. So what you're going to see popping up, you're going to see collective bargaining agreements, you're going to see employees, you're going to see all this stuff being proposed.
That's what we were saying.
That's what I've been saying from day one.
And here's the thing about it, with these NIL deals, I'm going to add this point. They have to get cleared through a clearinghouse, sort of like the NCAA clearinghouse. It's going to go through Deloitte now. Deloitte, anything over $600, Deloitte is going to actually have to verify this, whether it's inducement. Inducement means pay for play to get influencers to come there, or is this a legitimate deal? So that's going to put some guardrails around the collectives in the NCAA.
Why? So you just can't say, I want to pay for this kid coming out of Vermont because he's that guy.
No. Yeah. Because everybody know the collectives, a lot of these boosters, which is the collective call, they pay these kids to come, and it's based on pay to play, athletic ability as well. What Deloitte is going to do, they're going to regulate that. So if they say, you know what, they're giving this kid $1 million, it doesn't sound right. This deal does not sound right. We're going to avoid this. So this deal cannot go through as well.
Ooh.
So they're trying to get some guardrails around those collectives because it's a free-for-all, guys.
Yeah, it's crazy right now. It's Cowboys and Indians.
And here's the thing about it. You can pay a kid $1 million this year, and the kid can leave you next year. A kid is on the horn in the middle of basketball football season, talking to other schools, negotiating. Yeah. It was crazy. I talked to a lot of college coaches on both sides, football and basketball, and I would hear the story like, yeah, man, this kid is, we in a fourth game of the season. This kid is already talking to so and so and so. I'm like, listen, man, it's crazy. And how can you get a focus as a kid in your locker room after every game? Got to re-recruit your own players after every game, and sometimes
that's good
before the kid season even ended. As well. But I appreciate some of the coaches like the Nevada, Las Vegas coach and other coaches saying, hey, you agree to this deal. If you don't want this deal, we're going to renege on it. You can go somewhere else and play.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to be long-winded, guy, but I wanted to add some context to what's going on with the NCAA landscape so the viewers can really understand what's going to happen and what's coming down the pipe possibly.
Let me ask you this. So each school will have $20 million?
$20.5 million.
20.5. Now, will that be, because that's for overall sports, not just for one
absolutely.
particular sport.
Absolutely.
So who gets the chunk of that money?
Football. Those are your revenue generating sports. They're going to get the bulk of it. Your non-Olympic sports is also going to be in that fold as well. It's going to be divided up, as well. If you say, for example, and then here's the thing about it, schools got to opt in. You don't have to opt into the revenue sharing. Say if you so it's got it. Say St. Peter's University, you don't have to opt in. But what's happening with a lot of these schools, so for example, say when I was at Clark Atlanta, we played Georgia Tech, right? Georgia Tech gave me, $20,000 to go 10 minutes to play. So used to be the money goes back into a pot to help the school out as well. Mm-hmm. But now what athletic departments are allowing these schools to do to keep the money to use that as NIL money to get the kids to come play. Before, now they're not allowing it to go back into the school pot.
So like if Georgia plays Georgia Southern.
Right. And Georgia Southern gets $1 million.
That's what we always to lose 79 to 10.
So after Georgia Southern might say, you know what, the athletic director might say, you know what, you keep that $1 million to use as NIL money because a lot of these schools, there's only 8 schools in America, Division I, that makes money. That's in the black every year. The other schools are in the red. You just heard what I said. 9 schools who make money in the NCAA. Everybody else is operating at a deficit every year as well.
Who are some of the 9?
Oh, Texas is one of them, as well.
Texas.
Alabama came in the black as well. And I'm trying to think of a couple people offhand, but I know there's definitely 8 as well. But Texas has the most money. Texas has the most money and the most revenue.
That's what they always say. Yep. And they were saying, watch what SMU do, that private school.
Well, SMU, back in the day, they've been national champions, man.
They got unlimited pockets over there.
They brought Damon Evans from Maryland over there as the AD, SMU, who's a great AD, who was at Georgia, by the way, as well. So SMU is really turning around in football and basketball and all these sports as well.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this before we go, man, and I want to hear everybody's take on it. You have been watching NCAA. This is what you do. And shout out to Rock's daughter, Harmony Turner, who was the phenom at Harvard that just changed the whole culture of basketball over there. I'm always plugging his daughter. I'm proud of her, like a real uncle.
Don't say it like that.
I'm proud of her.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, though, but yeah, the wrong way.
Listen, she can stay at Harvard and get a great education and make that money.
Anyway, what is Bronny James gonna do?
He's gonna do it. He's gonna be doing.
Hold on, Darryl. Hold on. What you say, Rob?
You can't go around, Griff, talking about you plugging my daughter, man.
Yeah, you can't say that.
What did I say?
Just don't say it that way, man.
What did I say?
You know how we think.
Yeah, you say.
But what did I ask? What did I say?
Plugging my daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be a connotation around that, man.
You can't do that, dog. Just you're promoting her. You're saying good things about her. Right?
My bad, dog.
Go ahead, D. Go ahead and finish your talk.
Bronny James, dog. Is he for reals or is he for fake?
I'll chime in first. I think you have to look at full context of it. Everybody knows the influence of his dad. I think he's a humble kid. I think he works hard, and he shows some improvement in his game as well. Everybody knew he was not ready for the NBA. Even his dad knew. But at the same time, they know it's going to be a development phase with that as well. I think in time, he can develop into a solid NBA player. As Stephen A. Smith and my colleagues, I think he can develop into a solid NBA player. And don't forget, man, he's only 20 years old. So he still have time to develop as well. And his game is improving with it as well. He's that in-between height, that size, to play an off guard or even play a point guard. So I really think he's going to have to find his niche. Once he finds his niche and find the type of player he's going to be, and then he's going to be able to take those talents and be a productive on somebody's NBA roster during his career.
It is.
Well, it goes back to what we said about Cooper Flagg, about the patience. If his father wasn't LeBron James and he went to the Lakers, they would have been more patient with him. People wouldn't be having this expectation of him being the next LeBron James. Same thing I said about Cooper Flagg. You got to give these guys time to develop.
Yeah, give him time to develop, but also at the same time, and I'll just chime in a little bit. Him being drafted was the issue because everybody felt he shouldn't have been drafted.
He averaged .06 a game in college.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but then again,
they were scared to play him because they didn't want his heart to fall out on the middle of the floor. They was like, you can stay here, but don't worry about it. We good. We got other people. It's fine.
You know what? Thank God he was all right. I can remember, and I'm gonna share a story with you guys. I saw Hank Ganthers die on the floor. I was watching that game.
Oh man,
TV. Reggie Lewis. I had a chance to watch his game when he passed away. So So when you see stuff like that, and I felt for the young man with it as well. Should he stay another year of college? I thought he should stay another year of college to really demonstrate that he can really play.
Yeah,
Even if
that
he
I'm
averaged like
okay.
15 points a game. He had 15 points a game and got drafted second round. You'd be like, oh, okay, we see that he has some upside to him as well. But the way they did it, and being who we are as reporters and all that stuff, you open yourself up for scrutiny. We got to report what we see. We got to give our opinions as well. And, I would never bash LeBron James as a dad, but at the same time, you got to understand, you put him in a situation to be scrutinized and yourself to be scrutinized, and yourself to be scrutinized as well. Right. And yourself to be scrutinized as well.
So look, man, we always appreciate you coming on, talking sports with us, man. We like to listen because we get each other's perspective every single week. So when we bring guests on, we like to kind of hear the guest perspective on majority of the topics that we talk about. So appreciate you, man. Anything you want to promote, anything you want to share and talk about, how can people follow you on social media before we get up out of here?
Sure. You can follow me. You can Google me at Darryl Jacobs, ESPN Sports, or you can find me on Instagram, DJacobs1921, LinkedIn, Darryl Jacobs 0713, X, Darryl Jacobs 04, and of course on Facebook as well. But also you can find me at www.glsportsnet.com. I have a sports management company, guys, where I work with retired and current pro athletes with career transitioning as well. And if you go on my website, www.glsportsnet.com, you'll see a lot of these guys and women you may recognize that are part of my clientele as well. We provide them with broadcasting coach. I have a broadcasting coach. I have a mental health team as well. I have a legal team. So we try to incorporate them in terms of giving them all the services that they need when they need it as well. We also set them up with appearances, but also find them sponsorship dollars and all the stuff that they are trying to do with their initiatives, as well. Again, www.glsportsnet.com. That's where you can find me at, as well, and be able to reach out to me at any point in time.
Congratulations on your honorary doctorate in humane letters, too.
Yeah, did you tell him you giving that to me, man?
Just like this, I'm gonna be like, here you go. Now you a doctor.
Yeah. Hey, D, as long as he's not plugging you. As long as he's not plugging you.
As long as you ain't plugging,
he's not plugging me.
Hey, y'all.
Yeah.
I like the way Darryl was like, whoa.
You gotta play that clip so people can see it.
Episode number 138, I Hate the Homies, coming to a close. Rock Peasy is who I be.
It's your boy Griff, a.k.a. Raider Nation, a.k.a. Mr. Go Blue, a.k.a. Never plugging your daughter again, Rock. And I hate the homies.
And it's your boy Super Dave. But guess what, y'all? We don't
care.
Rock, you better care. You better care about what he said, Rock.
Like, what? Like,
I didn't even know. And then Rock is like, hold on.
We homies, so I'm gonna fix it.
Dave heard it quick, and I ain't even.
I hate the homies.